Go.
Yeah, work this time, right away.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome
Hey.
to episode 47 of the Degenerates Podcast. Today, we've got a great show for you. We're going to talk about guns. We're going to talk about the virus. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. This is the wrong show.
Oh, no. This is wrong. Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh, we got to record. We got to read. We're reading this time.
Oh, no.
I'm just gonna...
I can't. Dude, I forgot to tell you. I forgot how to read.
Oh, shit.
No.
Don't worry. Malcolm will read for you. Okay, you get Malcolm in there. Hello, I'm Malcolm. I'm gonna do the stuff. Knock, 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 knock. Thanks, Malcolm. Malcolm did the knocking sound effects.
Nice. Thank you, Malcolm.
Don't worry, he'll be back if we need more knocks.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. I don't know what I would do without him.
Okay, let's see what happens next. The sudden sound of someone banging fiercely on the door brought Natsui to her senses. Maybe we might need Malcolm soon. She had probably nodded off in the study while planning how they would overcome the next day. But what could it be at a time like this? More importantly, the knock itself was strange. It sounded like a Malcolm. Saying knock, knock, knock.
Fucking Malcolm.
If someone wanted to contact her, they could have just used the internal phone line. She told them that she'd be here. Realizing that something strange was going on, Natsui shook her head one more time, completely throwing off her drowsiness.
Father, it's Ava. I have an urgent, vital matter to discuss with you.
It was Ava's voice.
Fucking Ava.
What is this? I thought I told them to lock the doors and windows of the mansion tightly after everyone left for the guest house. So why is Ava here?
Maybe she got bored.
Natsui ran up to the door, responded with a small knock, and spoke through the door in a quiet voice. Oh, fine. Is she trying to sound like Kinzo here?
Don't think so. Maybe.
I'm gonna try and do a Natsui trying to sound like Kinzo
Natsui
voice.
trying to sound like Kinzo voice.
just What is it? You're too noisy. Jeez.
Natsui, how are you?
No, she saw through my ruse.
She saw through yours. Oh, God. Why are you in Father's study at this hour?
I told you to be quiet. Have you forgotten that the head values peace and silence more than anything else?
Now's not the time to be saying that. Just stop harping on that and open up quickly. Bring Father out.
The head just went to sleep. I don't know what business you have, but I will deal with it tomorrow.
I don't have any business with you. Just open up right now.
Sometimes multiple schemes and assumptions can fall apart due to the most direct, simple, and emotional of strategies. This is bad. If I open the door, Ava will probably throw herself forwards and rush into the study. Now I can't even open this door. At that moment, the phone suddenly rang. It's okay. Both of the keys to the study are here. No one can open this door. Natsui inched away from the door and grabbed the receiver. Hello? It's Natsui.
It's me. Things are bad. I want you to come down to the parlor quickly.
I can't go to the parlor because Ava's at the door.
Oh. No! She's stuck.
It was from Klaus. His tone was strained. What in the world happened?
He's dead. It would seem that the battler in this guest called Erica solved the witch's epitaph and found the gold.
Huh? Is that true? So that's what Ava wants to talk to Father about, to Kinzo.
Rudolph and the rest have forced their way in. They're saying Battler will show everyone the way to the hidden gold.
Great. Right now, Ava is just outside my study door, yelling at me to open it. But if I do that now, she might push her way inside.
I understand. I will go there too. Don't worry about the Ava. Just stay there and don't do anything. I'll give you a signal once I've gotten Ava away from the door, so leave as soon as you hear that. Ready?
Right after that, Klaus came up the staircase accompanied by Genji. A heated debate started between him and Ava.
Open up!
And the next one's Kraus.
Oh, no, calm down. Right.
Yeah, in the middle of that, there was a small knock as a single. We need Malcolm. Knock, 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 knock. That's a small knock he does. Thanks, Malcolm.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Klaus had cleverly pushed Ava away from the door and distracted her. During that gap, Natsui slipped out of the study and quickly shut the door. Ava noticed this and her face twisted in disappointment, but the heavy sound of the auto lock had already rung out and the door had been sealed.
The gold of the Epitaph has been found. It's only natural that we should inform Father about this. Or else what? Is there some reason you can't tell Father about this? Father gave strict orders that he not be awakened no matter what after he went to bed. Following those orders is the duty of the head's representative. Is that right, Genji?
Yes. The master's sleep must not be disturbed, no matter what happens.
Even a rule like that depends on time and circumstances, doesn't it? I mean, the Epitaph was solved. Father has a right to know right or straight away.
Of course, the two of us will report on everything to the head tomorrow. That's our duty as the head's representatives, idiot!
Idiot. I don't care about that. Come on, just open this door. Let me see Father. Father, can you hear me? It's Ava. Please open up. Ow, let go of me. That hurts. We're telling you to listen to us. Don't knock on the door so loudly. Ouch! Ow! Let go of me.
Grouse. Ava. The master is sleeping. Please refrain from disturbing him any further.
When Genji spoke firmly, the two finally ceased their scuffle. It seemed that Genji, the one who had spoken for Kinzo since they were very young, still possessed an air of dignity strong enough to handle both Klaus and Ava. Ava put her arguments aside for the time being. She could hold off worrying about that until after she saw the gold with her own eyes. After all, not even Ava had seen it for herself yet. Natsui and the others had managed to somehow deal with the momentary crisis. However, the move of the demons that would sneer upon their efforts had already begun. Battler solved the riddle of the Epitaph, you say?
Yes. Thought he had a lot of hope from that, though he had a lot of hope from that Erica girl. Battler was the one who reached the answer. Erica has proclaimed that she will abandon her rights to the Golden Land. Therefore, the one who reached the Golden Land is Battler.
Fate can be truly amusing. To think that Battler would make it there. What will you do, Beato? You promised to top the ceremony if anyone solved the Epitaph's riddle.
Yes, that was the deal.
That was the deal, indeed. Apparently, Battler does not intend to become the master of the Golden Land. It now seems that no one will become our master. That is also fate. It has been several decades since we first manifested in the human world through our bond with Lord Goldsmith. The time since then has been so very fun. Jeez. Come on, Leah, you sound like an old lady. So, what are we going to do if we go by Riche and Goldsmith's rules? Now that Battler solved the Epitaph and decided not to become our master, we've been relieved from duty, right?
That's true. I have no regrets at all. I've been prepared to be kicked down to... what does that say? Coitus. Cockatoos. All this time.
Cocytus? I don't know.
Cocytus.
Wait. Well, yeah, anyone in the comments, tell us what COCYTUS Gasterios Coquitos is.
Yeah, coconuts.
Coquito. Wait, we can't let that happen. You might not have any regrets, but I will keep on serving Natsui. It would be quite irresponsible to let ourselves be relieved from duty just because Battler solved the Epitaph. Witches are forbidden from breaking contracts, but they also must not fail to show gratitude. True. We should serve her until the family conference ends. In that case, you won't be relieved from duty for a while either, Lord Goldsmith. Perhaps you should wait until you've overcome this family conference safely, said goodbye to Natsui-sama at the very least, and if possible rewarded her for all her efforts.
Indeed, she has done well supporting my foolish son.
You're a fallen angel with one of its wings plucked off, aren't you? Just leave the other wing as a parting gift and go.
Indeed, perhaps that would be fitting. Natsui may be worthy of bearing my wing. However, we are approaching the critical moment. Your reward is waiting for you. Try to make it through this test unscathed, Natsui. Natsui has a test.
This is down to the room with the gold. We saw it all in episode 3, all this stuff.
Yep. Bam! All this gold.
The mountain of gold left everyone speechless, regardless of how strongly they had believed in its existence. No one could look at this much real gold and not be shocked.
To think a place like this existed!
I can't believe it. They're dead.
Everyone was stunned by the gold. The first one to break the silence and jump around in ecstasy was Hideyoshi, letting out an excited laugh. He clung to the wall of gold. Then he felt the cold, hard touch of it all over his cheek. This is incredible. It's the real thing.
The damn Dataverse sticking this much gold in such a ridiculous place. Now that we have this much, we no longer have anything to fear with this. We could overcome any kind of trial, Rosa. Nason, we'll be able to find happiness with this, right?
But it's Battler's.
But yes, Battler's, just get away from Battler's gold.
Ava
It's all Battler's.
Ava and Woza moved towards each other at the same time and hugged as they broke down crying.
Wing.
Ecstasy and shock, wonder and sighs. After stepping forward in front of the pile of gold that had caused these mixed emotions, Erica spoke as though she were an announcer in some show.
Yo man, if this world is money, then this gold is the embodiment of happiness. Congratulations everyone, I pray that this discovery makes all your lives richer.
I take my hat off to you. To think you'd solve the Epitaph within a single day of coming to this island.
If you couldn't solve it in a single day, then you wouldn't be able to solve it no matter how many days you had. After all, it doesn't take more than an instant for your little gray cells to give you a flash of intuition. Also, I wouldn't have been able to solve this riddle myself. I ask that you praise Battler's achievement as well, everyone. I've been in any rest of this discovery. I'm already satisfied to have my reasoning proven correct, so I'd like to give Battler full credit. I may be here, but please continue your discussion as though I wasn't. Battler called all the adults here, making sure that none of the cousins would notice. That can only mean one thing. He must have wanted to begin the true family conference with all of you.
Jesus Christ. Battler is the family conference.
Battler's in the family conference, dude. He's not on now. Erica, quit deciding things on your own. My apologies. In that case, I'll step down as a facilitator of these proceedings. So, who will take my place?
Shrugging, Erica looked around at everyone. After a short period of silence, Ava made the first move.
None of us has forgotten the deal we made earlier today, right? Yeah, divide it between the four of us with 2.5 billion for each.
But it's Battler's.
And then, but...
Oh, the
fuck off.
successor.
The successor gets another 10 billion.
I see what they're doing.
They're just fucking... Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, wait a second. Who decided that the one who discovers the gold becomes the successor?
Oh, hold up. You won't be able to get away with that, Natsui. We've all been arguing based on the premise this whole time, haven't we? You really think you can pretend that never happened now?
That's right. Weren't you the one worrying about how if one of the servants solved the riddle, they might consider themselves the successor? But nowhere is it explicitly written that it's the truth, right? You bastard! We were all aware of it, weren't we? That's right, Aoki. Are you gonna change your position this late in the game?
Though it was never stipulated, I believe it was common knowledge between us. I don't see how you can suggest we ignore it completely.
You can't just interpret the head's epitaph however you like. Where is it written that the one who finds the gold becomes the successor? The epitaph was decided upon by the head. You have no right to decide these things for yourselves.
Calm down, Natsui.
How could I calm down? Yes, I do find it quite impressive that Battler solved the epitaph. Congratulations, good job. I certainly believe he should be rewarded for it. However, it's clearly a stretch to suggest that he deserves half of everything, and you won't get away with the argument that the discoverer becomes the successor.
That's low, Natsui. This is completely different from what you were saying earlier today.
Oh yeah, this is what Erica wanted to watch. Oh, this crazy shit.
Right. I agree, though it was never stipulated the fact that whoever solves the Epitaph becomes the successor has always been the greatest unwritten rule we've had. It's not fair if you start complaining about that at the last second, right? Yeah, it isn't fair. My son is gonna be dead, dude.
Anyway, this gold is Father's. We can't decide how it will be split up without Father's permission.
No way. That's low, Natsui. We were talking about this on and on earlier, right? Are you saying that whole conversation today was a bunch of bull? It just ain't right. Anyways, Battler's the new head, so he's here. Let's argue, let's
just fucking beat up Battler. Take a look for ourselves. Why don't we just vote on it? Battler, the one who found the gold, is the successor. My husband and I have no objections. What about you, Rudolph and Kyrie? Or Rosa? No objections here. Nice going, Battler. I have no objections either. Battler is the true successor, chosen by the Epitaph. If you aren't satisfied, then why don't we just ask Father directly?
That's right. Like you just said, Natsui, Father is the one who wrote the riddle of the epitaph, and he's also the proper owner of this gold. In that case, shouldn't we talk to Father about this directly? How should Battler, the person who discovered the gold, be treated? I believe Father is the only one capable of making such a decision.
But...
Didn't I tell you to calm down? Rosa and Kyrie, right? Let's ask Father. Your turn is already over, Nissan Natsui.
Yeah, bring Father out to us. We won't get anywhere with just you two. Let's begin the real family conference. Does this look like something you can put off just because he's tired? If we take this thing lightly, we'll have a massive problem on our hands. Hey, are you listening? We won't get anywhere with just you. Bring Father out right now!
But he's dead. Yo, man, a family conference is always like this.
Just ours.
How the hell do I know? They're probably always like this on the inside. Looks like they won't be able to get this figured out right now without Kinzo. To think he's been called out to settle this Choden's fight, even though it's been announced that has only a short while to live. I wonder how he feels right about now. Imagine that. No reason that out will be a treat.
The parents ignored Badwer and Erica and kept yelling at each other on and on. Even though Battler had more or less imagined that this sort of thing happened behind the scenes, this was the first time he'd seen it. He'd suspected it since 6 years ago, and he'd been able to get a pretty good idea of what this was like by the darkening expressions on his parents' faces when this time of year drew near. However, this argument his relatives were having before his very eyes was much more ugly than he'd imagined. That's why he was very glad that he'd called the adults out here without letting his cousins catch wind of anything. Perhaps because everyone was tired out from the seemingly endless argument, they took a short break. It was decided that this family conference inside the Golden Land should be moved over to the mansion. This place may have been gorgeous like a VIP room, but there was no heating and it was a little cold. It wasn't well suited for a long conversation. They thought of the possibility that someone might snatch the gold away while their backs were turned, but of course no one could manage much with just human hands in a small amount of time when it's 10 tons of gold they're dealing with. In fact, it might be said that having this mountain of gold in the background was actually robbing them of the ability to make sound decisions. So they agreed to return to the mansion, in part so that they could regain their composure and continue the conference more cold-bloodedly.
Man, oh man. It's weird what money does to people.
I like money.
I mean, I like money too, don't get me wrong. Then, if you'd excuse me for the night, I imagine I'd just get in the way if I remain any longer. Sure, sorry, did we bother you too much? Let us show our gratitude again tomorrow. Sorry for letting you see such an embarrassing side of us. You said that you refused, but allow us to prepare a fitting portion out of gratitude for you as one of the first to discover the gold. Right, Nissan? Yes, we know what you're capable of. I think you can grasp our current circumstances.
20 billion yen in gold isn't something they wanted out in the open. They didn't want an outsider like Erica telling people about it. Of course, Erica had already reasoned out that much. She wore an unpleasant smile on her face as though she understood all too well.
You don't need to worry about me. Of course, I have no desire to tell anyone else about this. And if I did, no one would believe me without proof. I got to see something interesting tonight. It was quite a spectacle, so I'm more than satisfied. I see. I guess it's not every day you see 10 tons of gold.
Seeing the gold was a spectacle? Of course not. Judging by Erica's dark nature, it's obvious what she's so happy about. Battler. I thought about telling you just go away, but even I wanted to get out of this place. I tried to head back to the guest house along with Erica. However, Kirie grabbed my shoulder. You can't go, Battler. Please come with us.
Yes, you're now a real successor. You've got to have an audience with Father and have him acknowledge you right away.
That's something only the family head may decide. Don't make things up on your own.
Battler, I realize it'll be a pain, but stick around with us for a bit longer. Don't say anything. Just stay quiet and keep your head down. Got it? Just do whatever you want. It would have been easy to say that I had no interest in being his successor, but I was sure that would only add more oil to the fire. Even if I hadn't been ordered to keep quiet, staying shut up like a client was clearly a good idea. In that case, would it really be so bad if they just let me go back to the guest house? Dad put his arm firmly around my shoulder, and I told him it was uncomfortable until I let go. However, he didn't pay attention to a word I said. I've solved the Epitaph, just like you wanted. When you were the game master, we'd always get those letters. Try and solve the Epitaph. If you don't, I'll kill you all. Those are fun days. Why did she want to make us solve the riddle of the Epitaph? By solving it, we found a mountain of gold. Yippee for us. And what about Beato? Does she gain anything by having us find the gold? Or does she lose something? As far as chessboard thinking tells us, people don't ever make moves that cause them to lose something. That means you must have something to gain by having us solve the epitaph.
No. This child has nothing to gain from having someone solve the epitaph. Instead.
Are you sure that's okay? Using red like that without her permission?
This child most likely wishes for it. Virgilia, who had suddenly
That's me. Who had suddenly appeared there, quickly gave an answer to my question with the red truth. In the past, I sometimes guessed that Beato tried to make us solve the epitaph, because she wanted to make us find the gold's hiding place for her, so she could snatch it away. Is that wrong too?
Yes. In the first place, the gold of the Golden Land belongs to this child. She had absolutely no need to make someone find it for her or to snatch it away herself. It belongs to her.
Of course. Beato is Beatrice the Golden. Isn't she the master of the Golden Land and is she a family alchemist? That totally makes sense. However, that makes me even more confused. Even if someone exposes the answer to the epitaph's riddle, Beato has nothing to gain. No, to the contrary, her own gold might be stolen away. In that case, I'm understanding this less and less. I understand the Epitaph murders. It might be revenge against the Yoshimi family, or else a ceremony to revive her powers as a witch. After all, she's probably doing it because of some reason or goal of her own. But what's the point of her telling us to solve the epitaph? Whether we solve it or not, she has nothing to gain at all. In other words, the whole issue of whether the epitaph is solved or not is immaterial in Beato's eyes.
You're right. Whether the epitaph's riddle is solved or not, this child stands nothing to gain at all.
It doesn't matter whether it's solved or not. In other words, could we say the epitaph's riddle itself is immaterial to Beato?
You're right. The epitaph's riddle doesn't have any meaning for this child, so even if you take it to an extreme and call the epitaph's riddle immaterial, it may not be possible to argue against your claim.
Beato, why are you making us solve the epitaph's riddle? If we liken the witch you are to a pair of scales, the epitaph murders lie on one plate, and the riddle of the epitaph lies on another plate. After all, she's saying she'll stop the murders if the epitaph is solved. In other words, the epitaph murders and the epitaph's riddle are worth the same to Beato, like two sides on a balanced scale. That means that both the epitaph's riddle and massacring all the relatives are equally significant from Beato's point of view. But Virgilia responded with red truth.
Regardless of whether the epitaph is solved or not, Beato had nothing to gain.
If she has nothing to gain, then this epitaph's riddle is meaningless and immaterial to Beato. In that case, how much are the epitaph murders, which lie on the other side of the scales and are equal to the epitaph's riddle in value, worth to her? Think. Don't stop thinking.
If they're equal, then they don't mean anything to her.
Don't mean anything, then neither of them matter. So what does she care about? The epitaph murders and some of the riddle of the epitaph have equal worth, as long as the epitaph murders, which are Beato's goal each time, have the single way that they can be stopped, a way that she decides on herself. Both are worth the same thing to her. X equals Y. And whether the epitaph's riddle is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Because since if you solve the epitaph, then the murders stop, I guess that's why he's reasoning that they're worth the same.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And Y equals 0. So in this case, what is X? X is... Wait a sec. That means the epitaph murders are also meaningless and immaterial.
Yes! That's what we came up with just a few seconds ago, Battler.
Whoa!
Keep up!
Every time she performs these bizarre serial murders, she's willing to spend an incredible amount of effort to politely send advance notice. And then kill us one by one in accordance with the epitaph never getting exposed. So all of that is meaningless to her. I spun the chessboard around and searched through Beato's moves over and over, This is always the first place I stumble. The significance of the Epitaph murders.
There's no significance to the murders.
There's no murder significance. What? So she killed those people for nothing. No. Why did she have to commit serial murders in a way that reproduced the witch's epitaph? If she wanted to kill the whole...
Maybe she had a reason for killing people that you just haven't thought of yet.
Maybe.
Maybe the murders themselves didn't matter. Maybe they were a means to an end.
Alright. If she wanted to kill the whole Ishimi family for revenge, it'd be much simpler, safer, and more reliable if she just put poison into their dinner. Or else went around killing people one by one in the middle of the night while they were sleeping. However, on the first evening, Beito sent us a letter that sounded like an advance notice, and then carried out a 3-part serial murder with large gaps in between. The 6 people of the first twilight, the 2 people of the second twilight, and the 5 people in the fourth and later twilights. We aren't fools. Once the first murders occur, we barricaded ourselves in somewhere to stave off any further murders. Furthermore, we quickly suspect a culprit among us and start analyzing each other's alibis. As the victims increase, the number of suspects decrease automatically, and Beito's chance of success in the serial murder drop closer and closer to 0. All the Epitaph's murders are like she's strangling her own neck. She's making it harder to succeed in the serial murder she's attempting. All for useless embellishment. All just for show. She's raising the difficulty of completing her own objective.
Well, what is her objective?
I don't know.
That does follow. She really is a strange child.
Did you know? In mystery novels, they call things like these Epitaph murders plotline murders. I think you could split the possible motives for plotline murders like this into 3 groups.
And what are those?
Well, first off, maybe following the Epitaph gives rise to misconceptions about evidence and alibis, which might benefit the culprit. Pretending to be dead and mixing yourself in with the victims would fit this pattern. As with committing murders that don't actually follow the Epitaph, giving yourself an alibi by getting people to incorrectly guess the order of events.
I see. So perhaps she only made it look as though she was killing them in a ceremonial fashion, following the Epitaph, when she was actually guiding their thinking in a manner that benefited her. I do find that intriguing.
However, in our games, the dead are truly down for the count, thanks to the red. While she might have confused people in the world of the game board, she can't confuse us up here like that. In other words, the most obvious possible goal for her isn't the real one.
In that case, what are the other 2 possible reasons for carrying out plotline murders?
Another one is coincidence. A crime just happens to resemble the Epitaph without anyone in particular trying to make it do so.
I don't think that's what's happening.
Probably not, no.
It seems like someone's been trying to make it like that.
Yes, because it follows it very...
yeah, they even put the stakes in all the...
yeah, all that.
Yeah.
And the witnesses mistakenly think it's a plotline murder. Humans try to find the cause and vary in effect in everything they see. If we think we know what something is, then that's how it looks to us.
I see. That's intriguing too. But would that really work? In this child's game, advance notice of the crime is always given before the murders of the first twilight. Also, I believe you've repeatedly found letters and circumstantial evidence that clearly show that the culprit is carrying out Epitaph murders.
Yeah, that's right. It isn't coincidence. From the very beginning, Beito has been advancing with the goal of making this look like a series of Epitaph murders. We weren't mistaken about that. These are clear plotline murders. So this motive or lack of motive doesn't work either.
In that case, there's only one motive left, right?
The last one is because I want to show someone something. More specifically, fear. By following the Epitaph, she gives the others clear notice in advance that the murders will continue. The survivors are in constant fear of the murders, which they're certain will continue.
In other words, This child performed these Epitaph murders to make someone feel the fear of death?
Or at least, that explained things pretty well. The grotesque mutilation of corpses and dark decorations were all a show to terrify us.
To terrify whom?
Huh? Well, like I said, us. After hearing that one line Virgilius spoke so casually, my thoughts clouded over once again. Is it really sufficient to use the vague word, us? There are many humans in the Yoshimi family. There's the head and the one who holds the rank of his successor, grandfather and Uncle Kraus. There's relatives who have some pull in the business world. On the other hand, you have the young cousins who usually visit at most once a year, and the unfortunate servants who just happen to be on duty that day. Even if the culprit hates all of us, there should be clear differences in how much they hate some of us compared to others. So it should be possible to pick out people among that the culprit especially wants to terrorize or have revenge against. If you liken this to a kid eating dessert, is the strawberry on top of a shortcake the part you should eat last? No one tells you that you shouldn't eat it first, but our mentality encourages us to save it for later.
Well, I always eat it first.
Yeah, same. In that case, the culprit would want to leave the person they hated most until the end. Yeah, I like that line about my favorite character in this novel I like. Something about how the worst way to kill someone is to murder those close to them first, make them as miserable as possible, and only kill the person then.
Oh my, that must have been quite a terrifying novel. How frightening.
In that case, you could argue that the people who stay alive until the end are the ones Beato hates the most. However, every single time, the order of people get killed changes around completely. If you try counting up the people who live until the last twilight every single time, even though they do die in the end. I'm the only one.
Let me first speak with the red. Battler isn't the culprit. Battler didn't kill anyone. This can be said of all games.
Then that just makes it even more likely that it's me. It means the sole reason she had for bringing about the Epitaph's murders was to show them to me. Every time Beato begs us to choose whom to kill next with the roulette. However, I'm the only one she never kills. Though she doesn't kill me in the end, she leaves me be until the very last moment. In all these supposedly random games, there's only this one unchanging constant. She wants revenge against me, so she performed the Epitaph murders to make me feel fear?
That's wrong. Her goal is not to make someone experience fear, and it isn't to have revenge on someone either.
In that case, the Epitaph murders really don't mean anything to her. The Epitaph's riddle is meaningless, and the corresponding Epitaph murders are also meaningless. X equals Y equals 0. But even so, she's clearly trying to show these meaningless things to me. What could she want from me that'd be worth the same to her as something meaningless? I don't get it. The more I think about it, the less I understand what she's thinking. Beatrice, the fickle witch who committed a meaningless, worthless string of serial murders. Even the Epitaph's riddle, which that witch used as the trigger that could suspend the serial murders, is meaningless, immaterial. And she's thrusting this meaningless, immaterial thing in front of my face. What is it that you want from me? Or else what is it that you're giving me? My idea that Beato has clearly been taking revenge on me has already been denied by Virgilia's Red Truth. Both X and Y, both the Epitaph murders and the Epitaph riddle hold no meaning for Beatrice. X equals Y equals 0. However, since she's thrusting those things in front of me, they must have some meaning. She showed us the scales representing if you don't solve the Epitaph, I'll carry out the Epitaph murders. In other words, neither the Epitaph murders nor the Epitaph's riddle have any significance by themselves. However, It becomes meaningful when she puts both halves on the scales and puts them on display for us. No, before me. In other words, it should be like this. X equals 0, y equals 0, y plus x plus y is less than 0.
Is greater than
Greater than 0. Oh. Okay, so some of its parts are greater than the whole. Or the whole is greater than some of its parts. A scale with meaningless, weightless things on both sides. However, it has weight itself and gives the rest meaning. It's almost like playing, like kids playing rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors is an extremely familiar method of randomly determining a winner and a loser. You sometimes wager some sort of reward on the outcome, but kids often do rock, paper, scissors just to play without betting anything in particular. Unless you bet something, you have nothing to gain or lose except happiness and frustration. In other words, the two sides of the scale, both winning and losing, are immaterial. However, the very act of seeing which way it will tip is the reason kids play rock, paper, scissors. After all, the kids are enjoying the communication that surrounds the game, and they aren't purely interested in the value of winning or losing. They aren't overly concerned about who wins and who loses. That would mean it doesn't matter to Bito whether the Epitaph murders succeed or not. It almost feels like she's just enjoying the process. In the past, I cursed her, deciding that she was a heartless witch who kept murdering people for no reason. But right now, I can't imagine that's true.
Thank you. In that case, I'll give you one more line of red. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Beato never committed murder for the sake of pleasure.
She didn't do it for pleasure, and she didn't do it to make anyone feel fear. Since she has nothing to gain, she doesn't care whether the Epitaph murders succeed or fail. It's almost like a random game kids would play. Weird. That's not right. It does have meaning. It has meaning for her.
And what is this meaning?
I don't get it. Even though both sides of the scale are immaterial, the scale itself has some weight to it in her eyes. Of course, it is meaningless. Some meaning definitely exists. In the previous game, she urged me to remember my sin of 6 years ago. Am I supposed to believe that that was meaningless too? No. That definitely isn't the case. I clearly remember the serious gaze Bito had back then. Unfortunately, I didn't have a clue what she meant. When she saw that, she was horribly dejected. That's right. At the time, I'm sure she even went so far as to say that the crime wouldn't have occurred if I hadn't come. It does have meaning. It means something to her. And it's connected to something she wants from me. I laughed softly and poked Bito lightly on the head, then patted her head. Next time you want to send a love letter, I suggest you just write "I love you." And if you make it too roundabout and confusing, no one's going to be able to figure it out. I still don't have a clue what she's thinking. Even so, I won't stop thinking. I've only just started spinning the chessboard around. I definitely won't give up on this journey in search of your thoughts. Hey.
What time is it gonna be?
Oh, what time? Oh.
Oh, it looks like it's just staying the same time.
Yeah, looks like it.
It's gonna be Battler and them having the family conference in the mansion and shit, I guess.
Yeah, Ballard's fucking new head. New head of the family. What the fuck?
Not if Natsui has anything to say about it.
Yeah, but now nobody cares what Natsui thinks.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for now. We're gonna come back and watch Battler gaze blankly out the window and save in the game. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.